All right, we're in Washington, and now we have Washington Post columnist Steve Pearlstein. He says he's getting ready for a second-half recession. I believe Jerry Bowyer begs to differ. We have the aforementioned Pulitzer Prize winner, Washington Post economics columnist Steve Pearlstein. Jerry, you know all about. Steve Pearlstein, geez, second-half recession. This is grim. You wrote this Friday. Corporate bankruptcies, bond defaults, bank failures, hedge fund meltdowns, 6% unemployment. Which river, which water stream, what are you drinking from here?
I've been saying this for a long time. It hasn't happened yet, but it's finally come. The backwash from the financial crisis, I think, has finally hit the real economy, and I think we're seeing it. We also have an oil shock. None of us, I think, could have predicted that, and that's really hitting some industries very hard. What I'd say to you, Larry, is tell me a sector that you see some strength in, because I can't find one.
Agriculture. A lot of strength in agriculture. How about energy? Oil sector. A lot of strength there.
First of all, I don't see a lot of strength there. Most of the strength there is going to people who don't live in this country. And if you want to look at our refiners and look at their stock prices, I would say that they're not feeling so good right now.
How about technology? There's been a strong sector. Actually, it was up in the second quarter. Everything else was pretty dismal.
Yeah, but I think the technology sector, as we saw on Friday, is now beginning to see that they were being overly optimistic about the ability, particularly of consumers and now of businesses, to spend heavily in the second half. I don't think it's going to be a huge drag, but I don't see it as a source of strength, and by the way, neither do they.
And one more before I go back to Jerry Bowyer. What do you think about President Bush's drill? He wants to overturn the moratorium. The public opinion polls, all of them show the public is behind him. Now, that could change the calculus, couldn't it?
Yeah, Larry, I know you'll be surprised at this, but I've been a drill guy for a while, just as you have. I don't have any problem with ONWA. I don't have any problem with offshore, particularly for natural gas. I do have a little problem about actually drilling onshore. A lot of that stuff in the Rocky Mountains that everyone wants to do is really bad for the water. And it's really dirty. I think we shouldn't do it there, and there's not much there to be had. But offshore and in Alaska, I'm with you.
But Jerry Bowyer, okay, you heard Steve Pearlstein, and is the economy looking worse right now? The stock market, yes, nobody can deny that. The speculation and bubble in commodities and oil, yes.
Right.
But the economy itself, Jerry, if anybody's watching, we're going to get a jobs number this Thursday. Is the economy slipping into the Pearlstein recession, as I'm going to call it now?
Well, and I don't think that jobs report is going to show 6% unemployment. I doubt that. We might even get some doubts about whether we even have 5.5% unemployment. I mean, if you look at what's actually going on in the economy now, we just got the Chicago PMI. You know, it wasn't too long ago. We got the ISM and then, you know, the non-manufacturing ISM. All the things that track the economy show a slowdown, not a recession, a slowdown. So we're in that like 1% growth range. That's what we had for the first quarter. We're almost certainly going to have a second quarter that's better than that. And I don't see why that's going to get worse. The things that Steve is talking about and other people are talking about, like falling housing prices, most of that happened last year. If that's going to crush the consumer, it would have crushed the consumer already. But we got new consumer numbers last week, and they showed 3% year-over-year growth. So I don't see anything except for people who've been predicting recessions think, well, eventually maybe I'll get lucky and we'll have one. Other than that, I don't see the case for recession.
All right, Steve Pearlstein, your response to Jerry Bowyer's riposte.
Well, you know, all I can say is that 2 years ago and a year ago, people didn't see a big financial crisis coming, and I did. And you know, a lot of this is instinct, Jerry. Looking at the monthly numbers of manufacturers or this or that, you know, I look at that stuff too, and I can't say that stuff shows it. This is just really a gut instinct. This country was living beyond its means for a long time. We now have to get back to living within our means. The dollar is part of the story. Commodities is part of the story. The financial crisis is part of the story. Overvalued assets and speculation in commodities, they're all part of the story. And if we're going to get back to the process of living within our means, we got basically a 7% GDP hit to deal with. And until we do that, we really don't have the foundation for continued and strong and sustainable growth.
I respect gut instinct, but my gut isn't going in the same direction.
You know, sometimes the resiliency of free market capitalism, which at least through the election has very strong tax incentives and maybe a stronger dollar coming up. Steve Pearlstein, you might be. Are you open to being surprised on the upside?
I'm open to being surprised. A dollar strengthening would be a surprise to me and would be very helpful. But, Larry, I see a collapse in consumer confidence as well as investor confidence. There's really a capitulation going on. We saw it last Friday, and I think that does not augur well for the future.
All right. I'm never going to surrender. You know that.
I know
anyway,
that.
Steve Pearlstein, Washington Post, thank you ever so much. Jerry Bowyer doing double and triple duty. Thank you.